Welcome back to CEO.CA. Now, in this segment, I've got a guest here who we spoke with not too long ago, mid-October-ish. And at the time, we had just talked about drilling being complete at the Springer project. Now, Karim, you're here with us to give us some updates on what you've actually found. So thank you for being here to teach us more.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's very exciting times.
Well, Karim, like I said, Springer project in terms of the drill work is complete. Results are here and they're bigger than expected. In specifics, 440 meters were drilled and the entire thing came back mineralized. We see that almost a full percent total rare earth oxide trio from top to bottom is reported here. What does that tell you about the size of the system that you've got here at Springer?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's absolutely, we went deeper than planned for that borehole alone, and it's vertical. After the first borehole, where it also went deeper, the mineralization was continuing along dip. This one went vertical. So now we're finding more. It's outside of the mineralized zone that we know from the resource update, but what we're finding is more of these rare earth elements. But this is phenomenal. This is one of the best drill intercepts for rare earths globally. It's probably top 5 because it's completely consistently mineralized from top to bottom, what we, sampled throughout. So it's very exciting.
Well, you just gave us a global kind of snapshot. Rare earths typically come in narrow, high-grade zones, but you're calling this more like a bulk tonnage system. What's the difference here, and why does that matter for a project's economics?
That's a good question because, look, this is carbonatite. Yes, there are carbonatite veins where we were looking for, but what we see that is throughout the rock. That's why we continue to drill when we saw visually that it's throughout, you see those carbonatite and fluoride within the rock. So it's more like you can think as porphyry system for copper. Look, we're talking about with the current DOD pricing, the floor price that is being established in the US, you're looking at this rock as being entire borehole about $250 per ton. For gold equivalent, it's almost 2 grams per ton. The entire boreholes, 450 meters. And the high intercepts go as much as 20 meters at almost 4 grams per ton gold equivalent for the rare earths we have.
Well, you mentioned in the past that your resource update is coming in early 2026. You're adding gallium to the model. Now with these results, and of course more pending, because we're not just quite done yet with your results reporting, how much does that change what you're expecting to report?
Yeah, this is actually better than we expected. We knew it was going to be a bigger system based on what we visually knew at the time of the drilling. Right now, these numbers are way better, way phenomenal than we expected. So I think it's going to be a lot bigger and a better grade. Look, we're still waiting for the gallium results from the first and second borehole. I'm hoping those to get in the next week or two. And we still have 2 more boreholes before we can update the resource.
Yeah. And you've got heavy rare earths here at Springer, specifically terbium and dysprosium, which are considered expensive parts for magnets. What's the overall mix looking like, and how does that stack up against other rare earth projects that's in the market today?
That is, yeah, absolutely. One of the things we definitely look at consistently. We evaluated the first and the second borehole, especially this borehole has more heavy rare earths, the ones that you mentioned, not only light rare earths that are important for magnets, but the terbium and dysprosium are very, very valuable at this point. They make up of the entire borehole 10%, give or take, only those 2 heavy. We have other heavies as well, gadolinium and so forth. But the grades are for example, for dysprosium, when you look at it, we're talking about 100 grams per ton, over 100 ppm. And for the terbium, it's about 17, 18 grams per ton. So you put this together, over 120. It's almost 3 times what MP material has. In terms of grade, obviously the size is something else. But yeah, when you put it together, like it's really, really, it adds up, which is getting better and better as we drill.
Well, how has the market responded to the news? Can you talk to us about what the public has been saying?
So far, I've got a lot of good phone calls. Everybody's pretty excited and happy. Given where this project is located, I think it's gonna develop, fairly quickly, I would expect.
Well, we were saying off camera, and I think it's worth mentioning here today, that in general, rare earths has kind of taken up the mainstream. Like, I personally haven't seen it before. What's your response to how the Canadian government, governments around the world want to essentially domesticate, essentially support mining projects like this one?
Yeah, given the infrastructure we have on site, the paved road, to hydropower, power lines, and so forth, and the proximity to Sudbury and North Bay, I think if we can continue to grow this, that's the only thing we have to do, because the rest is there. We can take this into development and construction or production stage relatively faster than the other projects that we have in remote locations. We have really good projects in Canada, don't get me wrong. But this one, with everything is on site, the talent proximity and the proximity to markets, this can develop fairly quickly. The good thing is it's still open. We're still, trying to make it bigger.
Now, I know you've already talked about this already, but I think it'd be helpful for us to summarize here at the end of our conversation what sorts of catalysts we can look for by the end of the year for Volta.
Yeah, so the gallium results from either hole, first and second boreholes that we just got the rare earth results. It's a different system, so we're waiting for those results still. In the coming week or two, we should have those. And then third and fourth borehole, rare earth and gallium results, if there's gallium in those as well. And then after those, we're updating the resource. By January or February at the latest, we'll have the updated resource for rare earth and hopefully standalone gallium resource as well.
All right, Karim, we're going to leave it there for now, but appreciate you being here again.
Thanks for having me.
So all of us who want to see what other investors are saying can go to CEO.CA/VLTA, that's the primary ticker symbol for Volta, to go to their dedicated message board. Thanks for watching.